Senator Welch.
Thank you. You know, there's a place for tariffs on China. Targeted tariffs make some sense. What is being rolled out and the way this is being done is so destructive and so reckless and so irresponsible that it's creating nothing but economic chaos, uncertainty, and suffering for a lot of people. These are really disastrous for Vermont. I just want to go through this question of how do these roll out? You did not set, as our trade representative, the tariff rates on all of these countries that were on display when the president announced them, right?
Senator, the president made a decision on how he wanted to have the tariff set, and the economic cabinet advised him on that.
Right, but you did not set like the 50% rate on Lesotho.
I personally didn't, no.
Yeah, can you explain how that makes any sense?
So the way that the methodology works is the emergency we're talking about is premised on the trade deficit, which we think is well, I'm trying to explain the methodology, Senator, if you want to hear it.
This has got to get concrete because this has real impacts on everyday people. So the rhetoric about what the goals are when the rollout is so in conflict with achieving anything other than economic downturn, how did the 50% rate on Lesotho be decided?
So when you have White House economists who assess the trade deficit.
But you had no role in it?
Well, I certainly had a role in it. Everyone was advising the president on how to do this.
Tell me why I came up with 50% for Lesotho.
Well, I'd like to tell you, Senator. So when you look at a country's trade deficit, we believe that captures some of the unfairnesses, and you have to have a uniform methodology. You can't be arbitrary or capricious.
I'm going to keep going because Lesotho does diamonds, and
I'm happy to talk more to you about the methodology.
There is, I mean, my sense is there is no methodology. I asked ChatGPT, and basically they came up with some formula.
Well, that's not true.
Well, here's how it looks. Donald Trump just got fed up and said, what the heck, we'll just go with this formula that makes no sense. Number two, the issue of these tariffs. Now, the phone is ringing off the hook at the White House from countries wanting to get a break, right?
They want to talk about how to have reciprocal trade with us and how to get that deficit down.
That's right. So here's the structural issue that is really alarming to me, and I hope to all of us. We are using these tariffs, or the president is using these tariffs, from going from an economy that's based on competition to one that's based on access. You know, in a competitive economy, your product, your service determines the outcome and how well you do. In an access economy, it's who's got Donald Trump's number, who's got your number, who's got Lutnick's number, and you call up and you get a break. That's an access economy. Is this going to be the arbitrary authority of the president to decide, yes, we'll cut the Vietnam tariff, and no, we'll sustain the tariff on Lesotho?
The way this works, Senator, is we have longstanding relationships with trade officials in these foreign countries, and they work with our staff, our career staff, and they develop, if someone comes to us with an offer, we review it, we analyze it, and we present it to the president.
They're calling the president. I mean, you've got Donald Trump as president basically picking and choosing winners and losers, and who knows on what basis. That's not a trade regime that anybody can count on. That's something they can game if they know you, they know Lutnick, they know Donald Trump. You know, that I think was what Senator Warnock was asking about. We've got farmers on the border with Canada. They get their grain. It's going to be 25% hit. We've got consumers whose electricity bills are going up because of retaliation from Canada. Can they make a call to you, to Howard Lutnick, to the president, and ask for relief?
Well, we certainly talk to all kinds of constituents. We talk to labor unions, we talk to civil society, we talk to business. I would say with Canada and Mexico, they receive duty-free treatment for things that follow the rules of USMCA. If they bring in Chinese content and send it down, they won't get a break.
Let me tell you the frustration I have. There is a place for targeted tariffs to help us and also to push back on unfair trade practices. I support that. That's not what this is. This is utter chaos, arbitrary and willful on the part of the president that is setting up a dynamic where he picks winners and losers rather than companies compete to do the best they can and have the benefit of good work and a good product. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.